Enter Pedro Martinez and the Boston Bats. The Red Sox won 5 of their next 6 games, outscoring their opponents 49-22 in that span. It has been a memorable week. Ramon Martinez hopes to start another productive week. It's next on Fox 25. Fox 25 Sports presents Boston Red Sox baseball today from Fenway Park. Game 3 of this 4-game series between the Red Sox and the Oakland Athletics. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. I'm Sean McDonough. It's great to have you with us as the Red Sox go for their 6th win in their last 7 games. It has indeed been a memorable week here at Fenway Park, in large part because the bats have come to life. The Red Sox really struggled offensively on the season-opening road trip, during which they went 2-4. They averaged just 4 runs per game. They hit .236 as a team, and worse than that, with runners in scoring position. But here on the homestand, as they've gone 4-1, they're averaging 7.3 runs per game. They're hitting almost 100 points higher as a team, and in scoring position, doing even better than that. Joined, as always, by Jerry Remy. So, Jerry, as expected, the bats have come to life. You knew the Red Sox wouldn't hit as they did in that opening series all season long, and now it looks like Ramon Martinez might be starting to come around as well.
Looks like he's heading in the right direction, Sean. When you look at his first outing against Seattle, most of the pitches that he made were up and out of the zone. He didn't last very long in that game. Came back here to Minnesota to pitch against the Twins and struggled in the first inning, but the adjustment he made, at least he was missing low in the zone. He went back in after that first inning and really got upset, started to throw the glove around, and he came back after that and pitched more like Ramon Martinez, was much more aggressive, throwing the ball, hitting his spots. He hopes to keep that up today. Continue on from that Minnesota outing. He's facing a much better lineup here in the Oakland staff. You certainly don't want to walk these guys.
And he'll be opposed today by the veteran right-hander Omar Olivares. We'll have the first pitch from Fenway Park right after this. Boston Red Sox baseball on Fox 25 is brought to you by your friendly New England Dodge dealers, by Dunkin' Donuts, by your New England Ford dealers. Visit your New England Ford dealers for the best-selling trucks on the planet. By Best Buy, bringing you the technology to make your time more enjoyable. Best Buy, turn on the fun. By your New England Toyota dealers, where you'll find exceptional value every day. And by Southwest Airlines. Log on for low fares at www.southwest.com. Weekend continues. Cloudy skies today. The lights are on. Pleasant temperature, but we did have rain here overnight. Neither team took batting practice, and the possibility of some sprinkles as the afternoon goes along. The starting lineup is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. The Oakland Athletics are 4-7. They have Rich Becker, the center fielder, leading off. Frank Menachino is the second baseman, batting third, and playing left field, Ben Grieve. Olmedo Saenz is the cleanup hitter and first baseman. He's a career .333 hitter against Boston. He homered yesterday against Pedro Martinez. Matt Stairs is the DH. Jeremy Giambi in right field. Miguel Tejada, the shortstop. Eric Chavez, the third baseman, hits 8th. And batting 9th, the catcher Sal Fasano against Ramon Martinez.
Record of 1-1 on the season, the 11.37 ERA. The loss coming against Seattle back on April 5th, and the win coming here at Fenway against the Minnesota Twins. And as we talked about in the open, Ramon got things turned around after the first inning in that ball game against Minnesota. 0-1 in his career against Oakland. He faced them as a member of the Los Angeles Dodgers back in 1998.
Red Sox trying to go 2 games above the 500 mark for the first time this year. They're 6-5. Ramon's first pitch, a ball, just a little bit up and away to Rich Becker. 70 degrees at game time for the second consecutive day. First pitch at 106. Unlike yesterday, very little breeze in the ballpark as the game begins. 2-0 the count. Ramon kicking at the mound, which might be a little bit damp with the overnight rain. They did have the infield covered. Ramon, when he's had the early struggles, has struggled with his control. It seems that perhaps he's also struggled to find his comfortable mechanics. He's already at 3-0 with Becker. And there's a strike, says the home plate umpire Mike DeMuro.
Now, one thing he'd like to improve on today, the walk total. He had 4 walks against Seattle and 3 against Minnesota.
Becker might have swung at ball 4 high, and he popped it up and foul ground off third for Wilton Veras. 1 out. Let's give you the rest of the Red Sox defense behind Ramon Martinez today. Troy O'Leary, the left fielder. Carl Everett back in the field in center field, and Trot Nixon in right. Wilton Veras at third. Andy Sheets just giving Nomar a day of rest at shortstop. Jose Offerman at second. Mike Stanley at first. And Jason Varitek is behind the plate. One out, the batter Frank Menachino, the second baseman. Takes a ball just outside. He's hitting .212. He's been up 33 times with 7 hits. 3 of his hits home runs, including one here on Friday night in the first inning against Brian Rose. Ball 2 outside. So Ramon fell behind the first hitter Becker 3-0, and now he's gone to 2 balls and no strikes with Menachino.
It's interesting, Sean. For whatever reason, we've seen a number of pitches struggle in the first inning of ball games.
There's a strike.
Certainly not the case today, but for a number of these games here at Fenway, very cold conditions, but the last 2 days have been more like baseball weather.
Chopped up the middle. Sheets to his left. On to Stanley for the out. 2 down here in the first. Umpires are Mike DeMuro behind the plate with Brian Gorman at first base, Mike Everett at second, and Jerry Crawford at third. Now Ben Grieve. There's the first pitch strike from Ramon to Grieve, hitting .250, 9 for 36 with just 1 extra base hit, a home run. One strike pitch up and in. We understand that we're having some technical difficulties with our transmission, and our technicians are working feverishly to get that situation corrected. 2 balls and 1 strike. Grieve lines one right at the center fielder Everett, and it's a 1-2-3 first inning for Ramon Martinez. After a half inning, the Athletics nothing. The Red Sox coming up. You're watching the Fox 25 Red Sox television network. After a half inning here at Fenway Park, the Red Sox lineup is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. The Red Sox are 6-5 this season. They have Jose Offerman, the second baseman, leading off. Trot Nixon is the right fielder. Batting third, the DH today, Brian Daubach. Mike Stanley is the cleanup hitter and first baseman. Troy O'Leary in left field. Carl Everett, now third in the American League with his .400 batting average, is back in center field today and hitting 6th. Jason Varitek is the catcher. Wilton Veras returns to the starting lineup at third base, and Andy Sheets makes his first start as a member of the Red Sox at shortstop, batting 9th against Omar Oliveras.
He, along with Randy Velarde, coming over to this ball club midway through the year and really helped out. He was 7-2 with the Oakland Athletics. You see the record of 1-1. The win coming in his first outing against Detroit, and lost against Cleveland. He has never beaten the Red Sox. 0-3 in his career against Boston.
Oakland had a dreadful day in the field yesterday. They committed 4 errors. Ben Grieve, Rich Becker, Jeremy Giambi, the outfield. Eric Chavez, Miguel Tejada, Frank Menachino, and Olmedo Sainz, the infield from third to first, and Sal Fasano behind the plate. First pitch from Olivares, to strike at the knees to Jose Offerman. He stands in, hitting .205, hitting .154 left-handed. He's still the league leader in walks, having walked 13 times. He did not walk yesterday. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Red Sox will see the sinking fastball from Olivares, the slider, the curveball, and the changeup. Generally gets a lot of ground ball outs.
Down the third base line, a fair ball past Eric Chavez and right along the line into the corner, bobbled by Grieve, and Offerman has a double.
Well, the walks were coming for Offerman early in the season. Now the hits are starting to come. That fastball down and away. Good movement on the fastball, but Offerman right down the third base line. You can see that Chavez was playing in tight. He gets by him, and it clears the wall down in left field. That allows Jose to go into second base with the double.
His third of the year. He's now put together a 3-game hitting streak. He's 5 for his last 10. Oakland in tight at the corners, thinking that Nixon might sacrifice, as he did in the first inning yesterday with Pedro Martinez pitching. Fastball at the belt for a strike on Nixon. Trot hitting .306 with 2 homers and 5 runs batted in. 0 for 3 with a couple of walks yesterday. That snapped an 8-game hitting streak. 1-1 the count now. Another big crowd here. Looks to be another sellout as Kids opening weekend continues. More pregame festivities directed toward the youngsters. Nixon does a great job getting it to the right side. Menachino throws him out. The runner's now at third with 1 out.
Well, he just looks like more of a relaxed player at the start of this season than a year ago, obviously. Confidence in what he's doing. He's had great success to start, and good example there, knowing what to do. Pull the ball on the ground, get that man to third base with less than 2 outs.
Interesting in the first inning. Art Howe's going to bring the infield in.
Now, his team has been struggling the scoring runs till they got to Boston because they had that big first game.
Brian Daubach benefits perhaps from the infield being in. He takes the ball low. Daubach another good day yesterday. He had 2 doubles and drove in 3 runs, scored twice. He's now hitting .375. That has him just out of the top 10 in the American League in batting average. He's tied for 5th in the league in homers with 4. He has 12 runs batted in. 1 behind Carl Everett for the team lead. 2-0 on Daubach. There's Everett. .2-0 pitch. Fouled out of play to the left.
Now, the other thing, too, with Olivares being a ground ball type pitcher, if they could bring that infield in, you might get a ground ball right at one of those guys and save yourself a run.
Well, they just figure, well, it's a Martinez out there, so we're not likely to get many runs. The ball low. 3 balls, 1 strike. Mike Stanley, the cleanup hitter today, without Nomar in the lineup. Olivares, a veteran, 32 years old, from Puerto Rico. Went to high school in Puerto Rico, college in Miami. He throws ball 4 low. Daubach walks. The Red Sox are first and third. We'll see how Art Howe decides to play the infield now with Stanley coming up.
Sure, they'll stay in tight at the corners and go back to double play dead at second and shortstop.
Mike Stanley.
They do back up to double play depth up the middle. Chavez several steps behind the bag at third. Stanley had the day off yesterday, scuffling a bit at 241 without a homer or run batted in. Great chance to get in the RBI column here. Ball one, low and away. During his time with the Red Sox, Stanley has also been one of their best at delivering men from third with less than 2 outs.
Generally, the veteran hitters, guys that have been around a while, know what kind of pitches to look for in this situation, something they can get in the air. That's a little bit more difficult against a guy that is considered the sinker ball pitcher like Olivares.
Olivares trying to keep it down, trying to get a double play grounder, and he did a great job at that last year. Only Scott Erickson of Baltimore induced more double play grounders from the opponent than Omar Olivares last year. Erickson got the Oriole foes to ground into 41 double plays. Olivares next at 31. Two and 0 on Stanley. No score. The Red Sox trying to strike first. And Olivares throws ball 3. There was a walk-a-thon yesterday provided by the Oakland pitchers as they combined to walk 8. But the Red Sox pitchers walked 8 in the series opener on Friday night. Olivares has already walked 1 here in the first, and he's gone to 3-0 with Stanley. Strike at the knees. Outfield deep for Stanley. They play him the pull. 3-1 pitch. Bounce down to third. That's a fair ball. Chavez has 1 play at first base. And the run is in from third. Offerman scores to make it 1-0. Mike Stanley has his first run batted into the year.
Right over that third base bag. No chance at all for Chavez to get the double play. So he'll just go across the diamond. He'll give up the run. And the Red Sox have the 1-0 lead. Right over the bag. And the only option for Chavez would be to go across the diamond to get the out.
Daubach at second now with 2 outs. And the hitter is Troy O'Leary, batting 5th today. Ball 1 just outside. O'Leary due to heat up. He's down to 186. He's 0 for his last 13. Olivares behind in the count again, 2-0. He started his career in the St. Louis organization, broke into the big leagues in 1990 with the Cardinals. His father Ed played for the St. Louis Cardinals in 1960 and 61. There's a strike. Olivares went on to Colorado in 1995, Philadelphia that same season, Detroit in 96 and 97, moved to Seattle during the 97 season. Then a year and a half with Anaheim, now with Oakland. Fasano tried to frame that pitch, but it was clearly inside, and now it's 3 balls and a strike on O'Leary with Carl Everett on deck. Looks like Troy chased ball 4. He's been in the habit of trying to pull those pitches away from him. There's a lot of weak ground balls in the infield. The Red Sox get 1 run in the first, and they lead 1-0 after 1. Of a lifetime at a leper colony. It's the Simpsons. Then at 8:30, it's every father's worst nightmare. Dad has to give the talk to the boys on an all-new Malcolm in the Middle. It all starts tonight at 8 on Fox 25. There's a blimp flying overhead today, and tomorrow there'll be all sorts of aircraft flying over Fenway in downtown Boston as the ball game is played Patriots Day morning in conjunction with the running of the marathon. Johnny Kelly, the legendary marathoner, threw out the first pitch here today. Run 61 Boston marathons. Ramon Martinez pitched a 1-2-3 first. He throws ball one low to Olmedo Sainz, who homered against Ramon's brother Pedro yesterday. First homer and only RBI of the season to this point for Sainz. He's hit the Red Sox well in 10 career games against Boston. 3 home runs in those 10 games, a .333 career average. Sainz, Matt Stairs, Jeremy Giambi coming up. A bullet down to third, right through Wilton Veras. Played by Sheets in shallow left. It's a base hit or perhaps an error. We'll await the scoring. It went right through Veras. He actually looked down at his glove as it went through him into foul territory. As if to wonder if the ball went right through the glove.
It's a sinking line drive hit by Sainz, and you really didn't even know which way to turn the glove. Go to the backhand or try to catch it with the palm up, but it's hit so hard you don't have time to make that decision. Tell you, that Olmedo Sainz, he's a good hitter.
It's an error on Veras. Sainz is aboard for Matt Stairs. He takes strike one in the outside corner. Stairs, another slow starting A this year, hitting 175 with just 1 homer. 4 runs batted in. He's in a long slump. 2 for his last 29. Base hit, right field. Sainz around second. He'll stop there as Nixon plays it back in. That's the first hit for Oakland, and the first 2 men are on here in the second. The Red Sox lead 1-0.
Looked like Stairs that time took a pitch that was away from him, outside corner, and hooked it. You see Stanley holding the runner on. That creates a huge hole between first and second. But because of the good charge by Nixon, Olmedo Sainz will have to stop at second base.
2 men on for Jeremy Giambi at 143 for the year. 2 hits and 14 at bats. He looks at strike one. His brother Jason still listed as day to day with the hyperextended right knee, an injury suffered here on Friday night. Hit right at Sheets. Nice play to pick it up. Offerman, double play. There's a well-struck ball, fielded cleanly by Sheets. Once he came up with it, it was an easy 6-4-3 double play. A runner at third now with 2 outs.
Every ball in this inning has been hit hard off Ramon, but that time Sheets going to his left, and the nice flip to Offerman, and nobody around him to attempt to take him out on the double play, and 2 big outs for Ramon. Stairs just kind of, ball hit so hard you just kind of peel out of the way there. You don't want to get hit by the throw from Offerman.
Tying run at third for Oakland with 2 outs. In the second, the batter Miguel Tejada hitting 171, 6 for 35. Ball 1 high from Ramon Martinez. Tejada 1 for 7 in the series. He was hit by a pitch his first time up yesterday by Pedro Martinez. Apparently some of the A's after the game were upset that the Oakland pitchers did not retaliate and plunk one of the Red Sox hitters. They seem particularly miffed at Ron Mayhay.
Something as a teammate you might expect to see happen somewhere along the line. If if the game dictates it. It's usually 1 for 1, and in that case, some of the Oakland hitters didn't feel like there was any intention of doing that. And you know, Mayhay also has that reputation of being a replacement player, and that doesn't settle well. It still doesn't with a lot of guys, and when something like that happens, it creates some bad feelings. So see what happens today, if anything.
2-1 the count on Tejada. Hero, for his part, said he did not intentionally hit Tejada, that they're good friends, hang around in the Dominican Republic in the offseason. That's foul off third. Two and two on Tejada. Urban low and away. Full count with Eric Chavez on deck. Tejada has power. Drove in 84 runs last year. Set the Oakland single season record for runs batted in by a shortstop. He hit 21 homers. 3-2 pitch hit down to third. That one handled by Veras. Another well hit ball, but Wilton came up with that one. And the error does not hurt after an inning and a half. 1-0 Red Sox. You're watching the Fox 25 Red Sox television network. Carl's third in the league in hitting, batting .400 behind Darren Erstad at .458 and Frank Thomas at .440. Taking all the way, it's a strike. Carl's tied for 5th in the league in home runs with 4, tied with 10 others, including Brian Daubach. And right now he's tied for 6th in the American League with 13 runs batted in. He pulls one down to first. Signs playing first in the absence of Jason Giambi makes the play unassisted for the out.
You'll see the difference of the stance for Everett, hitting both from the left side and the right side of the plate. Quite a bit different.
Batting 7, number 33, the catcher, Jason Varitek.
Hitting left-handed, right on top of home plate. And you can see that there's not much room between both feet. Here he spreads out more from the right side. Hands lower. Or right hand, hands higher. And from the left side appears to be a dead low ball hitter, and from the right side a high ball hitter.
Jason Varitek the batter. 2-0 the count.
See the open stance hitting right-handed, still that back foot close to the plate, the front foot closer to the plate as a left-handed hitter. And notice the difference in the hands, much higher as a right-hander than when he's hitting left-handed. Two almost completely different stance.
On the right side, took a tricky hop, but Signs was able to snare it, play it on to Olivares for the out.
Another thing he does, Sean, too, when he's hitting left-handed, he has that high leg kick with the front foot. Not the case when he's hitting right-handed. Tough enough worrying about one side, never mind two.
Third baseman, Wilton Veras.
2 quick outs, and sure enough, every out recorded for Olivares has been made on the ground by a Red Sox hitter. Red Sox scored a run on 1 hit, a double in the first. By Offerman, he scored on a ground out by Mike Stanley. Wilton Veras, errant throw by Menechino, and Signs got the tag on Veras before he reached the bag. A 1-2-3 inning. After 2, the Red Sox won, the Athletics nothing on the Fox 25 Red Sox television network.
Red Sox on Fox 25 here at Fenway. The Red Sox have the 1-0 lead. Well, Red Sox fans, come enjoy a family outing at friendly Fenway on Monday, May 1st, Wednesday, May 3rd, and Wednesday, May 10th. The Red Sox are offering significant discounts for great seats to Sox games. Family Day customers may purchase grandstand tickets for $14, right field box seats for $13, and bleacher seats for $8. For more information, call 617-267-1700 or order tickets online at redsox.com.
Tigers will be here to ring in the month of May. The Red Sox will be in Detroit this week. They'll finish this homestand tomorrow, wrapping up the series with Oakland, then head to New Comerica Park in Detroit. Eric Chavez, first ball swinging, hits it very high and foul ground off first. And no chance for Stanley, with about 4 rows back into the boxes behind the tarp. It'll be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters for Oakland here in the 3rd inning. Chavez, then Sal Fasano and Rich Becker. Chavez hitting .343. Second on the Oakland club in batting average right now, behind Jason Giambi's .389. 3 homers and 9 runs batted in. That'll be a base hit. Top spin liner, looked like it might have been off the end of the bat. Second hit for Oakland, and the second consecutive inning in which the Athletics have put the lead man on against Ramon Martinez.
Batting 9, number 6, the catcher, Sal Fasano.
Now the catcher, Sal Fasano, the veteran, hitting .231. Started Friday night's game, the 13-6 Oakland victory, and went 1 for 5. He struck out 3 times in that one. He sends one back to the screen for strike 1. Double play ball. Sheets, Offerman, Stanley. Second 6-4-3 double play turned by the Red Sox in as many innings.
Well, usually it's the opposing pitcher, Oliveris, that gets a lot of double play ground outs. So far today, it's Ramon Martinez.
Number 22.
Sheets at the in-between hop, the underhand feed, and a good one to Offerman. Still has plenty of time to make the throw and get out of the way of the base runner. 2 for the price of 1. You gotta love that.
Rich Becker takes the ball up and away. He popped out to the third baseman Wilton Veras in foul ground to get the ball game started. Red Sox lead 1-0. They scored in the first, a double by Jose Offerman. He moved to third on a ground out by Trot Nixon. Scored on a ground out by Mike Stanley. Well, the breeze has picked up a bit. Wasn't doing anything when the game started, but now the flag demonstrating the wind is blowing across the field from the left to right. Becker tried to pull that one up into the breeze and missed it. Guess it's going to be chilly tomorrow for the marathoners. About 50 degrees they're predicting here in the hub of the universe.
Well, they're saying a little drizzle to start the race, which they don't mind, but I think there's going to be a headwind.
That's not good.
That's not a good thing.
And that would make sense. 50 degrees this time of the year usually means the wind's coming off the water from the east, and that would be into their faces. They don't like it warm, we know that much, but 150 is a little too cool. It's probably perfect. How do we know? We get winded walking to the car after the game. 2-2 the count.
Even with the wind at your back.
That's right. Two outs and the base is empty. The 2-2 from Ramon. Becker wouldn't chase the ball in the dirt. It knocked the mask right off the face of Veritek. Nice gesture by Becker. He picked up the mask, wiped it off on his pant leg, and then handed it to Jason.
Always be nice to the catchers. Maybe you'll get a pitch every once in a while.
Now the 3-2 pitch. He walked him just outside. The first walk given up by Ramon. It comes in the 3rd inning. Certainly in terms of control, this outing an improvement over other starts for Martinez. He had walked 7 and 6 in the 3rd innings coming in. Clearly that ball was outside.
The good thing, though, Sean, there have been some balls hit hard off Ramon in the first few innings, but he looks to be more aggressive in following up after that first inning of the Minnesota game.
Breeze right now blowing straight in from center field as Frank Menechino waits. Becker drew a throw. Becker has one stolen base. Menechino grounded to short in the first. Swing and a miss.
Also appears to be the best velocity that we have seen so far from Ramon Martinez. It's being his third start. .37 pitches from Ramon. More strikes than balls. The one strike pitch to Menechino paints the outside corner. 0-2. Ramon looking for his first strikeout. Menechino wouldn't chase it. Menechino, longtime minor leaguer in the minors since '93 after a career at the University of Alabama. Finally made it to the major leagues last year for the first time, got into 9 games, then opened the season this year with Oakland, in part due to the injury to Randy Velarde, and he homered on opening night. His first major league home run off Hideo Nomo. That got the home plate umpire, Mike DeMuro, like it hit him on the shoulder. Randy Velarde, the second baseman, due back maybe in about a week's time for the Athletics. He gets a pretty good play, though, out of Menechino. Randy Velarde out with a left knee strain. 1-2 pitch. He struck him out. Menechino chased one low and away. First strikeout of the afternoon for Ramon Martinez, and it ends the inning. We go to the bottom of the third at Fenway. 1-0 Red Sox. Bottom of the third rolls around under cloudy skies here at Fenway Park, and Andy Sheets is ready to lead off. Sheets takes the ball low and away from Omar Olivares, up for his first time as a member of the Red Sox. Called up when Gary Gaetti retired. Many expected to be Donnie Sadler recalled. They want Sadler to get at bats regularly down in Pawtucket, so Sheets, a journeyman, is here instead and just giving Nomar a day off today. He sends that to right. Jeremy Giambi ambles toward the line, and that's 6 in a row retired by Omar Olivares. Well, there's no better place than Fenway Park to host your group outing. Come watch the Red Sox Tuesday, May 2nd against Detroit, Monday, May 8th, or Tuesday, May 9th. With your group and take advantage of incredible discounts. For more information, call the Red Sox Group Sales Office at 617-262-1915. Jose Offerman has scored the only run of this game. He has the Red Sox only hit, a double down the left field line. Start the ball game. A smash caught by Signs. He's ordinarily a third baseman, but he's looked rock solid at first this weekend. Playing the last 2 days for Jason Giambi. That was a bullet that seemed ticketed for right field, and Signs made the diving backhand stab. That was similar to the ball that was hit to Veras earlier in the ball game. We're down at third base. This time Offerman pulling the ball, and a nice play by Olmedo Signs. This is a pretty good defense in this ball game. Sharp contrast to yesterday when the Athletics were brutal in the field, made 4 errors, contributing to the 14 runs that the Red Sox put on the board. In the big victory, each team has had a lopsided win in this series. Trod Nixon grounded out his first time up. Oakland won Friday night 13-6.
The Red Sox responded with a 14-2 victory yesterday. In each game, the team that won scored in the first inning and went on to victory. Taking all the way, Nixon looked at strike one. 2 balls and 1 strike. Half swing and a bouncer to Tejada. On the signs, another easy 1-2-3 inning for Omar Olivares. After 3, 1-0 Boston. You're watching the Fox 25 Red Sox television network. 1-0 Red Sox. Ramon Martinez ready to face the 3, 4, and 5 hitters. For Oakland, Ben Grieve leads off. Swings and misses at the off-speed pitch.
Some reason Ramon working out of the stretch position on that first pitch. Maybe he thought somebody was on base. I could hear Kerrigan whistling to him.
Now he's back to the windup for the second pitch. One and one the count on Grieve. He lined out to the center fielder Everett in the first inning. He hits in the direction of Everett again. 1 out. Well, you could understand it was in the middle of the inning. Maybe you could be a little bit confused, but ordinarily the other team doesn't start the inning with somebody on base.
Maybe he thought he was still taking his warm-up throws or something. And he's been having some difficulty working out of that position too, so maybe he's concentrating so much on it that he just naturally went into it with nobody on base.
Well, after the rough opening road trip when Joe Kerrigan's starters other than Pedro really had a tough time, the situation has brightened considerably here on the homestand. This is 2 good starts in a row. Signs were hit by the pitch, turned quickly toward Martinez as if he was going to charge the mound, and then he thought better of it, and a couple of the A's on the steps of the dugout. Tim Hudson, yesterday's starting pitcher for Oakland, out of the dugout. Sign still jawing at Ramon Martinez.
Now, things a little testy, and it started yesterday obviously with Tejada getting hit by Pedro. You mentioned, Sean, the comments after the game by the Athletics. And this pitch up and in. They try to pitch Signs up and in. That's the way the Red Sox have tried to do that. And then you can see his reaction after being hit. So Oakland obviously getting a little bit testy. Wise thing, he did not run out and charge the mound. Looked like he wanted to, though.
I think a Red Sox hitter is going to get hit by a pitch soon. Or at least there's going to be a couple that are inside. Of course, it is a tight game. Matt Stairs the batter, and he slices 1 foul.
You know, after the comments after the ball game yesterday, you would almost have to expect it now right away next inning. Not all teams handle retaliation the same way. Some wait. And it may not be tomorrow, but it might be the next time you're in Oakland.
Good pitch by Ramon. Pulled the string, had Stairs out in front. I think it's retaliation enough that you just have to go to Oakland.
I like that trip.
You do?
I do. It's a nice place to work. Nice ballpark.
Well, the ballpark.
Yeah.
Yeah, although it's kind of a dumpy ballpark. But the city of Oakland, I mean, Red Sox don't even stay in Oakland
Sometimes
anymore.
I wish we did. I'm not nuts about the place.
No, they stay across the bay in San Francisco. Make the bus ride over to Oakland every day. Well, they say downtown Oakland is improving. Jerry Brown, the former governor of California and presidential candidate, the mayor of Oakland. There was plenty of room for improvement. Ramon to first. Signs at first with 1 out. 1-0 Red Sox. 1 and 2 on Stairs, a dangerous hitter. He had 38 home runs last year. Strike three. No question about that. Right down the middle. Taken by Stairs. Second strikeout of the ball game for Ramon.
Good pitch, right, Ramon. Watch the movement on this fastball. It'll start out inside, tail back, and pick up the inside part of the plate. That Stairs crowds the plate. There's that little late movement on the pitch, and a perfect pitch by Martinez.
Two outs for Jeremy Giambi. He grounded into a double play. 6-4-3 in the second. Red Sox have turned a couple of 6-4-3 double plays in the ball game to help Ramon Martinez along. So you're saying you don't like San Francisco. You'd rather stay in Oakland. Just the convenience factor of it.
Convenience-wise, but I mean,
you think San Francisco's a little overrated?
At least the areas that I've been around. I tell you what, though, I'm looking forward to seeing the new San Francisco ballpark.
Yes.
I think next year we might be playing the National League West. That's going to be fun.
That looks like a great park. All the new parks opening to rave reviews. The Houston ballpark, the one in Detroit, although Lou Piniella apparently complained that they didn't have heaters. That's ripped into center field. A base hit for Jeremy Giambi. Two men on here for Oakland in the fourth inning. The tying run now at second base. 3 hits given up by Martinez.
Number 4, the shortstop, Miguel Tejada.
Here's Miguel Tejada. He grounded to third. A hot smash handled by Veras to end the second inning. And the Athletics had a man at third base. One strike. Well, the wind, which was still at the first pitch, has really picked up now. See with that change in wind direction as well, it is going to start to get cooler, as was predicted by the weather people. Oh, and apparently just outside, 1-1.
Yeah, that's not the good wind. That's that one coming off the ocean, right?
Usually brings cooler temperatures with it. It's supposed to be much cooler here tonight. Perhaps down in the high 30s, and then, as we mentioned, a high of only around 50 anticipated tomorrow for the ball game and the Boston Marathon. Low and away. 2 balls, a strike on Tejada. Ball 3 way outside. Eric Chavez is on deck. He's a very dangerous number 8 hitter. 1-0 Red Sox. The Red Sox have the lead despite the fact they have just 1 hit. Oakland threatening again. Signs at second, Giambi at first. The 3-1 from Ramon Martinez is ball 4 high. Ramon has hit a batter, given up a single, and now walked a man. Bases loaded. Let's pause for station identification. This is the Fox 25 Boston Red Sox television network.
You're watching Red Sox baseball on Eastern and Central Maine's local sports leader, WADI-TV, Channel 5, Bangor.
Joe Kerrigan at the mound. Sean McDonough, Jerry Remy, delighted to have you with us on this Sunday afternoon at Fenway. With a big crowd on hand, watching a tight ball game. The first 2 games of this series have been blowouts, but into the 4th inning today, just a 1-run lead for the Red Sox. And Chavez coming to the plate. He's already hit a grand slam in this series. He did that in the first inning Friday night against Brian Rose as Oakland built a 6-0 lead. To that point in the season, the Red Sox have been outscored 18-2 in the first inning. The Red Sox scored twice for Jimmy Williams in the first inning yesterday, and they got 1 on the board here today. Still have that 1-0 lead. Chavez singled into right field his first time up. He takes a ball low. Not much time in the majors, but already an impression made with the bases loaded by Eric Chavez. 7 for 14 with 2 grand slams. And he hits that a long way to center field. Everett retreating, and that ball is off the wall, just to the left of that yellow line where it would have been a home run. 3-run score on a double by Chavez. Now the first base umpire, Jerry Crawford, running over to say that's a home run. And Andy Sheets is protesting with the second base umpire, Mike Everett. I think the original call was right. Didn't that look to you, Jerry, like it hit just to the left of that yellow line? And in this instance, it would be in play.
Yeah, it did. It certainly did. It looked like it was to the left of that yellow line. I think he's going to reverse that call now, and Howard Howe's going to come out and argue.
I don't know why Jerry Crawford intervened, the first base umpire. Excuse me, Brian Gorman, the first base umpire, intervened. It wasn't his call. Art Howe out to argue the play. That ball from our vantage point live looked like it sliced and hit just to the left of that yellow line, which is off the wall. If it's to the right of the line, it's a home run.
And there is usually a net out there too, to the right of the yellow line. Now that was to the left, clearly to the left of the yellow line. I don't know if that net's still up there. It's hard to see, but there usually is a net up there.
Well, it was originally called in play, and then that call was attempting to be overturned. And then the original call was restored. It's a double and 3 runs batted in for Chavez in a 3-1 Oakland lead. And a pop-up out of play off the bat of Sal Fasano. Chavez came within inches of his second grand slam in the series. They have a pretty good lineup when he's hitting 8th.
And they have a couple of guys not even in this lineup today. Jahar is still out. Giambi is out. I mean, this is a lineup that can score some serious runs. Not going to have a high batting average, but they're going to have a lot of home runs. They're going to walk a lot, very similar to a year ago.
Now looking for a 2-out hit, perhaps an RBI from Sal Fasano. Art didn't argue very long, in very animated fashion. I think he knew the original call was correct. I just don't know why the first base umpire ran over there and tried to overrule the whole thing.
And see, I was watching the third base umpire. He was doing the same thing. He said home run. He tried looking at the first base umpire.
Yeah. And the second base umpire had it right. He was the man closest to it, Mike Everett. Interesting too now with these mixed crews. Some former American League umpires, some National League umpires. I imagine the teamwork takes a little while to get together, but usually you don't see an overrule unless you're absolutely certain the original guy made the wrong call, and clearly he did not make the wrong call. Strike 3, nasty pitch to Fasano, but plenty of damage done to Martinez in the inning as Oakland strikes for 3 on the double by Chavez. And we head to the bottom of the 4th at Fenway Park. The Red Sox now trailing 3-1. He's also made several nice plays.
That's the toughest one, the one directly over your head on the line. Got a great jump on it, never took his eye off the baseball, and center fielders will tell you that's the most difficult play to make, going straight back with that line drive over your head.
He's still blowing straight in from center field. Mike Stanley takes a strike on the outer third. Stanley grounded to third and brought home Offerman from third with the Red Sox run in the first inning. And Oakland took the lead moments ago on a bases loaded, bases clearing double by Eric Chavez. Ball down and away.
Well, let's give you a couple of scores. The action underway on this Sunday afternoon. The scoreboard brought to you by your friendly New England Dodge dealers. The Royals and Yankees are scoreless now in the bottom of the third at New York. Jason Grimsley making his first start in nearly 4 years. Out of the bullpen to oppose Chad Durbin. Rolled her down to first. Signs the play. 2 quick outs here for Olivares, who's mowing down the Red Sox all of a sudden. Rangers at the Indians again today, and it's 1-0 in favor of Texas in the bottom of the third. Esteban Loaiza against Chuck Finley. The Tigers hosting Tampa Bay, and Detroit has a 3-1 lead. Juan Encarnacion drove in 2 runs with a single in the second. That's Jan against Mulder. Blue Jays and Mariners at Sky Dome today. Alex Rodriguez, Carlos Delgado, Mike Cameron with home runs, and Seattle leads 4-3. Chris Carpenter, the New Hampshire native, on the mound for the Jays. The Angels and White Sox just underway. Scott Schoenweiss against Jim Parquet. And the Orioles are at the Twins. Sidney Ponson and Joe Mays. They're just getting started. Last night, Cal Ripken had 3 hits in Minnesota to reach the 3,000 mark for his career. Did it with a single to center. Now 70 behind Tony Gwynn, the active hit leader. Troy O'Leary takes ball 3. And now really picking up and blowing straight in. Always disconcerting here in the booth when the papers start blowing around. There's a strike. Three to 1 Oakland. Bottom of the fourth. 2 outs, the base is empty. The 3-1 Detroit. There's a borderline strike. It'll be Gil Heredia on the mound tomorrow for Oakland against Jeff Fassero in the series finale. There's another hit. Just the second for the Red Sox. The first in Offerman started the first inning with a double for Boston. The National League side of the Dodge scoreboard. The Mets are at the Pirates again today. Robin Ventura hit a 3-run homer in the first. And now in the bottom of the first, 3-0 Mets. The Expos did not score in the first at Philadelphia. The Phillies now batting against Hideki Arabu. It's Andy Ashby on the hill for Philadelphia. The Braves are at the Brewers. They're just getting started. Terry Mulholland against Everett Stoll making his first major league start. Florida at Chicago today. Cardinals and the Rockies will play a doubleheader. The Astros at the Padres later. The Reds at the Dodgers, and the Diamondbacks at Pac Bell Ballpark in San Francisco to take on the Giants. And that's your Dodge scoreboard. Carl Everett grounded to first in the second inning. 1 strike to count on the Red Sox center fielder. He's the tying run at the plate. The ball low and away. Sliced foul. Red Sox with their 6-5 record tied with Baltimore. They're second in the American League East. The Yankees lead the division at 7-3. The Red Sox are a game and a half behind. New York's won 4 in a row. They're putting that streak on the line today against the Royals. With that wind, you can feel that the temperature has dropped perhaps as much as 10 degrees since the game started. Olivares thought that was strike 3. We might have a point. Mike DeMuro staring right at him as if to suggest that Olivares not try that fancy footwork again.
Maybe call for being too high. I'm not sure.
You can hear the wind whistling through the microphones. That flag was hanging right down the pole when the ball game began, and it was 70 degrees. Everett pops it up. That's going to get out of play.
Well, we've had just about every kind of wind direction now in the homestand here at Fenway. For the most part, early blowing toward the bullpen area. Then for a couple of games blowing straight out. Now blowing straight in.
You're going to the jacket.
Going to the lightweight jacket right now. See what happens later on.
Still 2-2 on Everett. O'Leary at first. 2 outs. Varitek on deck if Everett can extend the inning. Now O'Leary will be running with the next pitch as Olivares missed outside with ball 3. Signs is moved behind O'Leary. Outfield around toward left. A lot of room toward the triangle for Everett. The runner goes. The ball hit toward the wall and left. Grieve retreating. And he can't play it. The wind knocked that one down. Here comes O'Leary. The relay from Tejada. Safe at the plate, O'Leary. And it's 3-2. Well, that's a ball that when it was hit looked like it would be halfway up the wall, and I think that's what Grieve was anticipating, or at least he would have to go up against the wall. But the wind just knocked that ball straight down and wound up landing on the warning track as Grieve, who is not a great defensive player, whiffed.
There you see he has to come back in a couple of steps, did not make the play. That same ball was hit yesterday by Everett. That was about halfway up the wall with the wind blowing out. Now,
even if it was hit at the first inning today without this wind.
Right. Good block of home plate here, and O'Leary will miss it on the first attempt, but he'll come back and tag it with the hand before Fasano can chase the baseball down.
Well, they very charitably scored that a double for Everett. And a run batted in. Now he's the tying run at second. Varitek hits it slowly past the mound. Menachino there. That ends the inning. The Red Sox pick up 1 run. Narrow the deficit down to 1. 3-2 Oakland after 4. You're watching the Fox 25 Red Sox television network.
Have the 3-2 lead over the Red Sox. Well, this season the Red Sox will offer a free shuttle bus service from Ruggles Station to Fenway Park for all Red Sox home games. The Red Sox want to improve public transportation access to fans arriving via the Orange Line, commuter rail lines from Attleboro, Franklin, and Needham, and several MBTA bus lines. For more information, visit redsox.com.
Ramon Martinez and the Red Sox back within 1 run. 3-2 as we go to the 5th. It's now 62 degrees here at the ballpark, so the temperature has dropped 8 degrees in the last hour and 12 minutes.
Number 22, the center fielder.
And it's going to continue dropping with that stiff breeze off the water now. Here's Rich Becker, the top of the order for Oakland. Becker popped out in foul ground to Wilton Veras in the first, and he walked in the third. Ramon's given up 4 hits. He's walked 2 and hit a batter. He struck out 3. Ball 1 outside. All 3 Oakland runs last inning. The A's hit some balls well through the first 3 innings. A couple of double play balls helped Martinez out of difficulty. They got to him for 3 in the 4th. Signs was hit by a pitch. Giambi singled with 2 outs. Tejada walked to load the bases, and then Eric Chavez cleared the bases with a double off the wall in left center. It was very nearly a grand slam. Off-speed pitch missed, 2-0. The bullet over the leaping Stanley down the right field line. Played cleanly by Nixon, but nothing he can do to stop the double for Rich Becker.
Now Ramon falling behind in the count. 2 balls, no strike. Fastball on the 2-0 count, and Becker was ready for it. He'll pull it right over the head of Mike Stanley and quickly down that right field line for the leadoff double. Now, I think Ramon certainly throwing the ball better today than in either one of the first 2 outings, but still having some difficulty with his location.
And apparently the Athletics are concerned that Becker might have injured himself.
Obviously something bothering him prior to that run to second base. It didn't look like any point there that he was hurt.
Maybe just a little bit winded when he got to second base.
Triples usually do that too. That usually doubles, especially when you can walk halfway in.
Red Sox in tight at the corners, thinking Menachino might bunt. Instead, he sends it down the right field line. Nixon over by the pesky pole. It's a foul ball. Menachino is grounded to short and struck out. Making the effort to hit it to the right side, the outfield way around toward right. Ball low and away. One and two.
Good change up there by Ramon. Off-speed pitch and down. That's a tough pitch for Menachino to try to move the other way.
Three to two, Oakland. The A's trying to pad the lead after the leadoff double by Becker, and Menachino strikes out for the second consecutive at bat. Fourth K of the afternoon for Ramon. They're not posting the Ks out there in center field for Ramon as they did for Pedro, who had 9 yesterday.
Follows the changeup with the fastball just above the belt. Menachino, a pretty good fastball hitter from what we've seen in this series, but not in that at all. Pitch that looks like giving him the most problems has been the breaking ball. And that's a good out. It leaves that man at second base now with the one out.
Now Ben Grieve would like to atone for his adventure in left field a moment ago that led to the Red Sox second run. He takes a strike at the knees. He has twice flied to center. He's had some difficulties defensively. Started his career as a right fielder, has moved to left field. One and one the count. Ben Grieve, the son of former major leaguer, Western Massachusetts native Tom Grieve. That's a foul ball. They are the only father-son combination both selected in the first round of the baseball draft. Tom Grieve was the #1 pick of the Washington Senators in 1966. And Ben Grieve, first-round pick of Oakland. Second player taken in the '94 draft. The ball high. 2-2.
Hopefully Red Sox infielders and outfielders took notice of that ball that Grieve kind of messed up out there because of the wind and make the necessary adjustments.
Tried to check his swing and could not. Well, Ramon has struck out Menachino and Grieve after the double by Becker. 2 down, and the runner still at second base.
And when getting ahead of Grieve, they went way upstairs to the fastball on a couple of occasions, and this time Grieve cannot hold the swing up. That ball above the letters.
Ben's dad, Tom Grieve, one of the really nice people in the game of baseball. 10 years the general manager of the Texas Rangers. After a 9-year playing career in the majors. 1 strike the count on Olmedo signs.
Every time we go to Texas, he's following those Oakland games very closely.
Yes, he does. He now works as a broadcaster for the Texas Rangers on their television. Signs, look out. Just off to our right over by the Oakland radio booth. If it went in the booth, it'd hit somebody. They have like 6 announcers.
Ray Fossey with the good hands over there would have made the play.
Not often you see 3 men in the booth in the radio.
Yeah.
They have 3 in their booth. Ken Korach on the left. Ray Fossey in the middle, the former Major League catcher, and Bill King, longtime Bay Area broadcaster, on the right. Bill's one of the real characters in broadcasting.
He's been doing it a long time, hasn't he?
He certainly has. He's done the Raiders and the Warriors. He's broadcast a lot of sporting events in the Bay Area, and is very, very popular, and understandably so. He's a terrific announcer. The 0-2 pitch. Fly ball to right, again being battered by the breeze, and Nixon can't get it. That's a fair ball, just fair. So the wind causing all kinds of problems now on both sides. It's a bloop double for Signs. As he exacts some revenge after he was hit by a pitch his last time up, and he didn't like it, and the lead's back to 2. It's 4-2 Oakland as Becker scored from second base.
So you could see this coming. There was no way anybody was going to get to it. You just hoped that it went into foul territory. We could see clearly a fair ball. Now the attendant's going to touch it and pick it up, and that'll be an interference, and they'll just leave Signs at second base. This has really been a difficult day for outfielders trying to play those pop-ups and fly balls now, especially in the last inning.
Oakland hit some balls hard early in the game with little to show for it. Now they get a run on a bloop double by Signs. Would have been a routine out before the wind kicked up. Matt Stairs has singled and struck out. Strike on the inside corner, leveling the count at 1-1. 4 runs, 6 hits for Oakland without an error. 2 runs, 3 hits, and 1 error for the Red Sox. A little bit outside. 2-1. Oakland won the season series from the Red Sox last year 6-4, and they did a lot of damage against the American League East. They went 34-18 against the East, considered by many to be the strongest division in baseball. Certainly it's the strongest division in the American League. That was the best record any American League team had last year against the East.
They also played great at home at the Coliseum. 52-29 at home, and then well below 500 on the road.
And 87-75 for the year. The full count now on Stairs. The inning started with a double by Rich Becker. And back-to-back strikeouts by Menechino and Grieve, and then the bloop double by Signs brought in Becker. Now the 3-2 to Stairs. He struck him out with a changeup. So he struck out the side, but 2 doubles and a run in the inning for Oakland as well. We go to the bottom of the 5th at Fenway, 4-2 Oakland. By 2 for the second time today. They were down 3-1. And they now trail 4-2. So they come up in the 5th against Omar Olivares, who just missed with ball 1, a little bit low and away to Wilton Veras. Veras, Sheets, and Offerman against Olivares, who's allowed 3 hits through the first 4 innings. There's a strike on the corner. Veras grounded to second, his first time up. Fouled off his foot. Friends, this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Boston Red Sox, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. In addition, the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Boston Red Sox. He chased the ball high, and Veras strikes out. The first strikeout of the day for Omar Olivares.
And that by design. Usually Oliveris a sink-a-ball pitcher, but when he got a couple of strikes on Barris, up above the letters for the strikeout. Very similar to what Ramon did to Grieve last inning.
One out, base is empty. 4-2 Oakland in the fifth. Andy Sheets took a strike. He flied to right in the third. Fouled off his foot. Ball bounced out into fair territory, but first it struck the foot of Sheets.
Talking to Jimmy about giving Nomar the day off today. He said, look, he said the last couple of years he's missed some games, I think 20-some a year ago, and he said he put up some pretty good numbers. He needs time off, even though it's early in the season. And he's also want to get Sheets involved. He got called up a couple of days ago and not played.
The 0-2 pitch. He struck him out.
He'll tell a guy like Garcia Parra yesterday after the game that you got tomorrow off, so that helps you relax a little bit on a Saturday night, enjoy yourself, and know that you come into the ballpark. You don't have to take batting practice. But again, of course, he could be used late in the game. That's why I used to like it. Tell me the night before.
I don't know.
Oh,
They
yeah,
told you you had the Saturday night to yourself to go do what you wanted, Jerry. That's a little dangerous.
I'd stay up till 12 o'clock instead of 11:30.
Jose Offerman, the batter. So Oliveris did not have a strikeout through the first 4 innings. He has back-to-back Ks here in the fifth. Offerman has doubled and scored. Last time up, he lined out at a bullet that was caught on a nice backhanded play by the first baseman Olmedo Sainz. Ball 2. Ball 3 eluded the grasp of the catcher Fasano. Tying run in the on-deck circle. Trot Nixon hoping to hit here in the fifth. Offerman pops it up, and that's slicing out of play. That looked like it was going to be close, and it wound up way up into the seats. That wind pushing it a long way. Payoff pitch hit on the ground to second. Menechino just did get the hustling Offerman, and the Red Sox go in order in the fifth. After 5, Oakland 4, Boston 2. Fox 25 News at 10. Tim Wakefield warming up in the Red Sox bullpen as we go to the 6th.
Number 7.
Ramon Martinez is given up at least 1 run in each of the last 2 innings. Here's Jeremy Giambi, the number 6 hitter to begin the 6th. He grounded into a double play in the 2nd, singled and scored on the Chavez double in the 4th. Tejada and Chavez to follow here in the 6th. Ball 1 just outside. Close to the same spot, but this one caught the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. Yankees have taken a 3-2 lead over Kansas City. They trailed 2-0, but now New York is up a run in the 5th inning at the stadium. Players do that when you play. That seems like a relatively recent phenomenon, that covering the mouth.
Yeah, it seems like the last couple of years that's been the thing to do.
Do you recall when you played other teams trying diligently to read the lips of the people involved in the conversation at the mound?
Not necessarily, no. But apparently somebody did, because that's why they're doing it now.
strike. You see it a lot in football where the coaches who call the plays in the headset will hold their play sheet up in front of their face so the other team can't read lips. But we have heard a lot of tales in covering football of coaching staffs having somebody in the booth upstairs with binoculars who is trying to read lips. That's a well hit ball to right. Nixon at the wall makes the catch. Another ball that knocked down by the wind. On another day, Jeremy Giambi has a home run. Today it's a long out into a stiff breeze.
In just a matter of about, what, 45 minutes, Fenway's become a very big ballpark with that wind blowing in. Now, that ball was kissed by Giambi, but still fell maybe about, what, 10 feet short out there in front of the bullpen area. It's like a high fastball from Ramon, about letter high, and Giambi put a pretty good charge in that one.
One out, sixth inning, 4-2 Oakland. Miguel Tejada looked at ball one. He was grounded out and walked. He walked right before Chavez came up and hit the bases loaded double that knocked in three, including Tejada in the fourth. Lailing swing and a miss. Mike Stanley has asked for some sunglasses as the sun has been peeking in and out here in recent minutes. Stanley needs a little more time. I'm not sure Ramon knows it. Mike has his glove between his legs putting the sunglasses on here. He got his business done in time. Got a very good changeup from time to time today.
Even though he's behind 4-2 in this ball game, I think this is clearly the best stuff that he's had at any start, going back into spring training a couple of starts.
Should do something to ease the fears of the faithful. Close, but a ball. Now the payoff pitch. Hit in the air. Another well hit ball in left center. Another one gobbled up by the breeze. 2 down.
That might be the game plan now. Let him hit those fly balls to center field and in right field.
It's going to take a bomb to get one out of here to center field or right field. Chavez hit one a long way his last time up. This is the big hit of the game. Bases loaded double that knocked in 3 for Chavez with 2 outs in the fourth. One and 0 on Eric, who singled to right in the third. 2 for 2. Little lob. He's 3 for 3. Looked like he endured his growing pains at the major league level last year. Scuffled for much of the season, came on late, and he's off to a very good start this year.
Still learning, obviously, offensively, and a very solid defensive third baseman. And they expect the big things out of Chavez for many years to come. Good player. Good change up that time just to get the bat on the ball pretty good, and then just drop it in front of O'Leary for the 2-out base hit.
Well, that's by far the softest contact of the inning. Sal Fasano, the hitter. That's a bullet high in the air, deep in left center. Everett comes back in for it and makes a tumbling catch. Well, every ball in the air is an adventure now. That one looked like it was going to be in the screen when it left the bat of Fasano, and it came up well short of the warning track, almost to the chagrin of Carl Everett. On to the bottom of the 6th, still 4-2 Oakland.
You hit it, the more the wind's going to take effect, and this ball close to being out of the ballpark, and now watch, he has to try to adjust here. It never even reached the warning track. He's the guy that said a couple of days ago it's tougher here than Wrigley Field, and that may be the case.
Red Sox down by 2. Looks like they'll have to put together hits to make up the deficit, because if you hit one in the air like this, it's not going to get out of the ballpark. Well, it might be dropped. The way the wind is creating havoc. Nixon now 0 for 3 after the Becker catch, 1 out in the 6th inning.
Kids, here's your chance to bring Wally the Green Monster wherever you go. Come down to Fenway Park on Sunday the 7th, May 7th, when the Sox take on the Devil Rays. The first 12,000 fans age 15 and under receive a Wally 2000 backpack buddy.
And Wally out in full force here today. That looks like a dangerous place for him to be, though, right there on the screen. The foul ball comes back there. Really hurt the little guy. Brian Daubach has walked in line to center. 1-0 the count on Brian. Mike Stanley on deck. The ball down and in from Omar Olivares. Red Sox have had just 4 base runners, 2 in the first, and they scored 1 run, and 2 in the fourth, and they scored their other run. 3 hits and a walk. The only damage done to Olivares. Daubach rips one into center. Becker racing to cut it off. That'll hold Brian to a long single. Hit it low and kept it out of the wind.
Yeah, that's the way you have to hit him now. Obviously, the fly ball's not going anywhere, so put the ball on the line. That ball down and away from Daubach. He's able to cover the whole plate and put it on the line into center field. He now has a 4-game hitting streak. One of the hottest Red Sox hitters at this point.
Tying run at the plate. Mike Stanley, the batter. He's grounded out twice. Picked up an RBI, his first of the year, with a ground out in the first inning. Tough pitch on the corner. 1 strike on Stanley. Way inside. One ball, 1 strike. Chavez close to the line at third. Tejada pulled over a step at short as well. Ball 2. Given the wind, it seems Becker's pretty deep in center field. Ball 3 up and in. Troy O'Leary to follow. 4-2 Oakland. They hit 7-4 in favor of the Athletics. The Red Sox made the only error of the game. Stanley drives it to right at Jeremy Giambi. 2 outs. Daubach back at first.
Number 25, the left fielder, Troy O'Leary.
That brings Troy O'Leary to the plate. Bounced back to the mound in the first. He singled to right with 2 outs and scored on the Everett double. That was misplayed by Grieve in left in the 4th inning. In the air in center. The wind's going to kill that one too. Becker the catch. That ends the inning after 6. Oakland 4 and Boston 2.
Life has its bumps, but you don't have to feel them. Now Midas Gold struts with R2 technology.
Menachino 0 for 3 against Ramon Martinez today. He grounded to short in the first and struck out twice. Tried to bunt, a tough task against the knuckleball. He left the bat out there, so that's a strike. 0-1.
Last time up, they had a man at second base. They let him swing away. And at that time, they had 3 runs on the board. Now with a 2-run lead, bunting on the first pitch.
Veras creeping in from third. Menachino, no sign of a bunt there, and he looked at the ball high. Ron Washington is the third base coach. Ball 2. Becker will occasionally steal the base. He had 19 for Minnesota in '96. Last year he had 8. 5 for Milwaukee and 3 in 40 games for Oakland. He has 1 stolen base this year. Not running on the 2-1 to Menachino off the end of the bat and sinking fast in right. Nixon plays it on a hop. Nice effort by Trott. Becker advances to second. You can see Becker smacking his hands together. I think he was convinced all the way that was going to drop, but he just didn't have the heart to speed around toward third base.
Yeah, usually you get a pretty good look at that too as you are heading toward second base. The play is in front of you, but again with the wind and everything, I don't think anybody's sure of what's going to happen. Because Becker too, remember last time he was at second base, they had to go out and check something. It appeared to be a leg problem, so maybe he's not running at 100%.
And Grieve pulls one foul. Greaves 0 for 3. Is line to center, fly to center, and struck out. 8 hits now for Oakland. They lead 4-2, threatening to do some damage to Wakefield. Grieve spins one into the luxury boxes. Of course, dropped there, but fortunate that the fellow who dropped it dropped it into his own booth. Usually they kick it around, it goes down below.
That's probably as good as a play you're going to see in any luxury box there. You know, get hand on it, drop it, and right to the feet where you can pick it up.
Wakefield tried to sneak in the fastball.
Oh, he's getting picture taken now, everything.
And you know what I don't like? You know, he after he dropped it on the ground, he picked it up and then he stood up and held the ball up and invited the crowd to cheer like that was some big play. Dropped by Veritek, a close pitch. Again, Wakefield looking in at Mike DeMuro.
He quickly became a photo op after that. So now this guy coming down, he thinks he's going to get on TV.
Yeah, there's a fellow who just walked down near the fellow who dropped the ball. Probably heard us talking about him. Another little pop-up, infield fly rule in effect. Sheets the catch for the first out. Runner still at first and second. Pause for station identification on the Fox 25 Boston Red Sox television network.
You're watching Red Sox baseball on Eastern and Central Maine's local sports leader. WABI-TV, Channel 5, Bangor.
Olmedo signs the batter. There's a strike. Hines reached on an error by Wilton Veras in the second, an error that did not prove costly to the Red Sox. He was hit by a pitch and scored in the 4th inning. He doubled, bloop double down the right field line and knock in a run in the 5th. In the air and center and handled by Everett. 2 outs. You know, a lot of times you see a routine pop up in the infield. You see the infielders jockeying for position. They all want it as if they're going to build up their fielding percentage. So this would be one of those days they all back off, let somebody else have it.
I got it. You take it. The conditions dictate how aggressive you are at times.
Matt Stairs, the batter. 1 for 3. He has singled and struck out twice. Ball 1, down and in. Today's telecast produced by Russ Ken, directed by John Wilson. Associate producer David Corus, Bob Qua, and Chris Gerline assisting us here in the booth. A strike, 1-1. Oakland leads 4-2 in the 7th in game 3 of this 4-game series. The series finale tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. the traditional Patriots Day game. Prior to the marathon. Strike 2, 1-2. Jeff Becerro and Gil Heredia, the pitching matchup, will have the ball game for you over the Fox 25 network at 11 a.m. And with frequent updates about the progress of the marathon, Jerry will have his picks sometime between 11 and the noon start. And a couple of years ago, you used to make your picks at like 2:05 when they'd be running down Boylston Street.
Gonna wait and see what the conditions are, the headwind, all that stuff comes into effect, be a factor when you're making those picks.
Swing and a miss. Nasty knuckleball, then went darting away from Stairs. And the Athletics got the first 2 men on, but could not score in the 7th. Time to stretch on this breezy afternoon at Fenway for the Athletics lead 4-2. Carl Everett in the batter's box, ready to get the bottom of the 7th started against Omar Olivares, who's pitched very well. Carl Everett leads off by taking ball 1. It looks to be a pretty good pitch. Everett is grounded out and doubled and not going to run. He hit that ball that was misplayed by Grieve on the warning track in the 4th inning. Chops that on the right side. Menachino, 2 signs for the out. Matter of fact, Greaves out of the ball game now as Art Howe has made a defensive replacement, moving Rich Becker from center field over to left. Becker now in left.
Number 33.
Ryan Christensen has come into play center field. Christensen will bat in Greaves' spot, the number 3 position in the batting order for Oakland. Jason Varitek bats and takes the ball low. 4-2 Oakland, 7th inning. Varitek is twice grounded out. Milton Veras to follow. A ball low, 2-0.
Well, this has pretty much been a Olivares type of performance, changing speeds, sinking the fastball, mixing his pitches well, keeping his fielders busy.
Two balls and a strike now. Down the line. Great stop by Signs and a wild throw past the pitcher Olivares. Well, Signs probably saved an extra base hit. And he really made the tough part of the play. Not that hitting the moving pitcher while lying on the ground is that easy, but he didn't come close.
I think what happened is he rushed the play. He had more time, I think, than he expected to have. Terrific play there, and then he just fires from his back seat and cannot get the pitcher covering first base. This one there, if he could have got to his knees, he probably would have been able to make a better throw than that and had some time to do so. You see Varitek just now coming into the pitcher.
That brings up Wilton Veras. They've scored at a hit. Veras the tying run at the plate. Veras is grounded to second and struck out swinging. Andy Sheets on deck, Jerry. When you give a guy like Nomar the day off, do you give him the full day off, or would you consider having Nomar hit him this inning if he comes up with a chance to be the tying or go-ahead run?
The question is, do you use him now, or do you wait to use him maybe in the 9th inning if necessary? But
well,
no,
Sheets would be the likeliest guy that you'd hit for.
Exactly. he's not ready for the whole day off. I mean, he's available to play.
He did have the jacket on earlier, so you wonder if the fact that it's off indicates he might be getting ready. And he'll probably be doing more than just sitting there, where he's getting ready to pinch hit in this inning. He does have a glove on, too. There's action now in the Oakland bullpen for the first time today. Right-handers T.J. Matthews and the left-hander Mike McNante. Ball outside. Olivares up to 90 pitches, his longest outing 7 1/3 innings. In his first appearance of the year against Detroit, last time out 5 2/3 innings against Cleveland in a loss. To Olivares, he got a hanger and fouled it off.
Into some of the scouting reports on Olivares, they really start to watch him close when he gets up around that 90 pitch limit. And that's probably the reason you see the activity out there in the bullpen for Ed Howe.
Paying a lot of attention to Varitek over there at first.
2-1 count. Sometime they may expect a hit and run play.
Over the head of Menachino. Varitek had to hold up to see if it would be caught. And he can only scamper to second base. Veras has another hit. And Andy Sheets apparently is going to hit.
And on the line for Wilton Veras up over the head of Menachino, and obviously Varitek could not take that chance of advancing in case he caught that ball and become a double play victim.
Art Howe on his way to the mound. The tying run now at first base. No indication from Jimmy Williams that he's going to send Nomar up there to hit. Howe's going to stick with Olivares. Now, I understand you want to give him the day off, but I think you, at this stage of the game, have given him most of the day off, and you want to put yourself in the likeliest chance of getting a hit. And certainly, when you compare the resumes of Nomar, he seems quite tired based on the shots we've seen. Maybe he needs a little more rest. And Andy Sheets, you'd have to say the defending batting champion's more likely to get a hit. Let's hope, with the way it's worked out over the years for Jimmy Williams, Sheets is likely to rip one into the left field screen through this win.
Looked like Nomar was expecting to be called on, too. That jacket was off.
I think unless there's something wrong with him, it makes sense to put him up there now. What are you waiting for? Out of play to the right. Sheets today 0 for 2. He's fly to right and struck out in his first start with the Red Sox. Jose Offerman on deck. Right fielder Jeremy Giambi very shallow. And that's right where Sheets hits it. Giambi had him played perfectly. Well, he just must be determined to give him the whole day off.
Well, again, that if it goes one more time through the order to the ninth, that's where you'll see him. Then
We're
again,
playing another inning and half in the field, and he's that much of a difference in terms of the benefit of rest.
But that's the way he's done things all along. Gets a guy in a lineup, and he usually leaves him in there unless they make some kind of pitching change or something.
Well, Jimmy Williams' track record speaks for itself, but In this instance, it doesn't seem to make much sense. Strike one. The count on Jose Offerman. He's hit it hard a couple of times. He had a double and scored in the first inning. He lined out in the third. The first baseman signs, and he grounded out to the second baseman Menachino in the fifth. In the dirt, no chance for Fasano, and now the tying run is at second base. And a well-placed hit to tie up the ball game. A wild pitch by Omar Olivares.
You really have to make it wild too. Fasano not to block it. He's excellent behind the plate. That ball bounced way out in front of the plate, and he had no chance. He set up outside. The pitch is down and in. It hits the glove and then just deflects back to the backstop. So now the tying run in scoring position.
Veritek at third and Veras at second. 1-1 on Offerman with Trot Nixon on deck. Olivares works from the stretch. Offerman lines one into right, a base hit. Veritek has scored. Here comes Veras. The throw from Giambi cut off. It's a tie game. They have Offerman in a rundown. Tejada to Menachino for the out, but the Red Sox have tied the game at 4. On a 2-run single by Jose Offerman. We go to the 8th. The Red Sox 4, the Athletics 4.
Cigarettes can kill.
These airwaves have been leaned out.
But it's not how you think. Don't do it. The X-Files.
Tonight at 9 on Fox 25.
Before Kerrigan's came in, we posted strikeouts of Pedro Martinez.
When Pedro gets 2 strikes, you start the Pedro. 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 First thing you need is accuracy.
Second, you need speed.
13 strikeouts a game. We're doing wind sprints.
Thirdly, I think you need to put up a little flair.
There's nothing you can do about that. We just have it.
Well, back at Fenway, the Red Sox have tied it on the base hit by Jose Offerman. Of course, the wild pitch, very big there. Got a couple of men in the scoring position. The potential tying run. Offerman takes this ball on the line and then gets caught in the rundown, which is a good play. With 2 outs, you want to make sure that second run scores. So you try to get trapped. You hope to draw the cutoff. It's exactly what happened, and they'll certainly give up that out right there to get the potential tying run home.
Signs as the cutoff man did a good job to pick up that one hop throw on the short hop from Giambi.
Now batting for Oakland, number 7.
Red Sox caught a couple of breaks in that inning. The wild pitch was big, and Veritek reaching after Signs made the great play on the stop, but couldn't make the throw to the pitcher covering. That got the inning started. So it's 4-4 in this back and forth game. Tim Wakefield begins his second inning and throws a ball to Jeremy Giambi, who is 1 for 3. He singled and scored in the 4th. Last time up, he hit a ball a long way to right, but the wind knocked it down. Pulls that foul down into Canvas Alley, home of the Red Sox ground crew. Giambi waited on the soft one and fouled it off. 1-2. Miguel Tejada on deck, and then Eric Chavez. Chavez has been the hitting star of the day for Oakland. Wakefield got out of a jam last inning. The first 2 men reached against him, but then he retired the next 3 in a row. Oakland stranded 2. Pulled fouled again. Nice play on a hop.
Well, he hasn't seen Garcia Parra play yet, but he's got a souvenir, so he's happy about that.
See a lot of those number 5 T-shirts and jerseys around the park.
Yeah, 5 and 45 seem to be the big sellers.
As the number 2 was around Fenway back in the days of your playing career.
Yeah.
Probably will be again now for Carl Everett. Chop fouled again. It's been a good at bat for souvenirs for the fans here. Well, there's a Pedro jersey with the attractive fishing hat. Compliment the outfit. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Both bullpens quiet right now. I wonder if the Oakland bullpen might start up again during this inning. It looked like Olivares was on the verge of the hook last inning. Art Howe stuck with him. He gave up the game-tying hit to Offerman.
Yeah, they had a couple of guys throwing, T.J. Matthews, Magnante, and obviously once it got to a couple of outs in this inning, it wouldn't take them many pitches to get ready for the bottom of the 8th.
That's in play and a base hit. And Jeremy Giambi wins the lengthy battle with Wakefield. And the lead man is on again for Oakland. Time for the game summary brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. It's a 4-4 game. Eric Chavez, the big hit of the day for Oakland, a bases loaded 3-run double in the 4th. That gave Oakland a 3-1 lead. Red Sox made it 3-2 and Carl Everett drove in a run with a double, his team leading 14th RBI of the season in the bottom of the 4th inning. Oakland added a run in the 5th. Just moments ago, Jose Offerman picked up his 2nd hit of the day and knocked in 2 runs to tie the game at 4. Game summary brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. Again, the timing of our crew flawless with the Dunkin' Donuts sign on display behind home plate. Giambi back to first. He has not attempted a stolen base. We got to start the pool for when the Red Sox, the date the Red Sox come up with their first stolen base of the year.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
They haven't had one this year.
Wow.
Tejada turns as if the bunt turned so early it will almost make you think he's bluffing.
Yeah, that's why I think Wakefield stepped off too a little bit early that time, and you never know if he's going to pull it back, try to slap it through the infield. Turned around early, but didn't have a lot of infielders moving around, so that's a good thing.
Art Howe has called for just 1 sacrifice this year. Tejada chopped that one foul. 1 strike on the shortstop. Real Cormier warming up in the bullpen. Wow, he's throwing hard. You can hear it all the way up here. Tejada today is grounded out. He walked and scored on that Chavez double in the 4th, and he flied to center in the 6th. Turns the bunt again, stabs it toward first. Stanley to Offerman. It's a sacrifice, and Giambi is the go-ahead run in scoring position now.
Good job done by Tejada. Knuckleball, not the easiest pitch, obviously, to bunt. And he puts a good bunt down that first base line to get his man in the scoring position.
Number 3, the third baseman.
So he wasn't deking on that first attempt. He was up there to bunt and sacrifice and almost beat it out. Had the rush to get him at first base, and here comes Jimmy Williams with the left-hander coming to the plate. Chavez. They've got Cormier ready in bullpen.
Jimmy's looked a couple of times out toward the pen. He hasn't made the call yet. Chavez has been the star of the day for Oakland. He already has 3 hits. Williams is going to stick with him. Cormier hasn't been up for very long. I would have guessed, Jerry, a knuckleball pitch, doesn't matter if he throws it left-handed or right-handed. It's going to bounce the same way regardless of what side of the plate the hitter's batting from.
That's true, too. And you look at the numbers sometime against Wakefield, lefties don't have as much success against righties for whatever reason.
Chavez, chance to add to his big day, pulls 1 foul.
It's not the guy, though, you want to see at the plate in this situation. It seems like everything going his way today. And actually in this series.
3 for 3 today. With the 2 singles and the 3-run double that was very nearly his 2nd grand slam of the series back in the 4th inning. Hits that on the ground down to first. Played awkwardly by Stanley, but he made the play. Ball bounced up, and Mike got stuck in the heel of his glove, it appeared from here. You don't need style points, just need the out.
Yeah, make sure you get down on the knee, make sure that ball does not get by you, especially that man at second base. Any kind of ball that gets through there, the run scores. Well, it looks like we got Jason Giambi coming out to pinch hit.
Sal Fasano due. And here comes Jason Giambi, who played Friday night.
Your attention, please.
And this might force Jimmy Williams' hand. And he's making sure that Jason Giambi is officially in the game, and now he is going to bring in the lefty. Looks like he's doing so reluctantly.
And not many guys on that bench for Rod Howe. I mean, Giambi now being put into the game. I'm not sure if Jaha's available. He's had the bad elbow, hasn't played in the series. And Hernandez will be going in to catch.
So Wakefield departs. Oakland has the go-ahead run at third with 2 outs in the 8th inning in a 4-4 game. Real Cormier, the new pitcher. Boston Red Sox baseball on Fox 25 is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Log on to low fares at www.southwest.com. And by Nissan. Driven.
And on the mound now for the Red Sox, Real Cormier making his 5th appearance and working in back-to-back games. He pitched a perfect 8th inning yesterday against the Athletics, coming on the face of Giambi. So far this year, lefties against Cormier 0 for 5. Giambi handles left-handers pretty well. I mean, he hit well over 300 against righties, about 286 a year ago against left-handed pitching.
Jimmy Williams didn't call on the lefty Cormier to pitch to Chavez, the left-handed hitter ahead of Giambi, but now he will bring in Real to pitch to Giambi. With a tying run at third and 2 outs. Of course, one thing that might work into that equation, Jerry, the possibility of the wild pitch or pass ball from Wakefield with the knuckleball with that runner at third. You're less likely to get that with Cormier up there.
That's a good point, Sean. You know, I guess the third base of that knuckleball, you never know what's going to happen.
Giambi tied with Mike Bordig of Baltimore for the American League lead in runs batted in with 17. He did not play yesterday with a hyperextended knee. He drives that to deep right, but the wind is the friend of the Red Sox, and Nixon has it. Cormier gets his job done with 1 pitch, and Oakland has squandered some chances in the last 2 innings. After 7.5 innings, 4-4 the score. This is the Fox 25 Red Sox Network.
Ramon Hernandez now catching and now pitching for Oakland, number 52.
Boston Red Sox baseball on Fox 25 is brought to you by your New England Chrysler dealers. And by McDonald's. Come into McDonald's and try the new Big Extra. Did somebody say McDonald's?
Well, a couple of changes for the Athletics as we begin the bottom of the 8th inning. Hernandez will be going in to do the catching, taking over for Sal Fasano, who is pinch hit 4. And coming in to pitch with a couple of left-handers due up for the Red Sox will be Mike Manente. He makes his 2nd appearance of this series. A couple of hits he allowed and a run. It was earned, and no walks and no strikeouts in the game 1 of this 4-game series. This will be his 6th appearance overall on the season.
Well, Trot Nixon was due to lead off, but Jimmy Williams sends Darren Lewis, the right-handed hitter, up there. Here's Lewis hitting .273 without a homer or a run batted in. He's 3 for 11 this year with 3 singles. He's not had an at-bat as a pinch hitter. He started in center field yesterday. He had a good day. Had a hit and a walk, scored a run. He takes strike 1. Nixon today was 0 for 3. Veteran Magnanti hits the corner. 0-2. Brian Daubach on deck, and then Mike Stanley is due.
You may say Magnanti just faced the first 2 hitters in this inning, Lewis and then Daubach. And they have Matthews, I believe Matthews throwing again in that bullpen.
Williams has let Nixon have a few swings against left-handed pitchers this year. Trots 1 for 6 against lefties. There's Matthews ready in the bullpen. Slashed out of play to the right.
Yeah, this had been probably a couple of innings ago. I'm sure he would have let Nixon hit. Here you get the right-hander against the lefty, and you get a very good defensive outfielder into the game in a close ball game.
And you can get that lead man on. You have good speed with Lewis on the base paths. Less likely to hit a home run, but no one's likely to hit a home run right now with that wind. Oh boy. That pitch was about ankle high and called strike 3.
If you got that kind of strike zone, you're going to be a pretty good pitcher. This ball appeared to be way down and away.
Yeah. That's not a strike. Even a little bit outside from that vantage point. Certainly it was low. Lewis, as usual, doesn't have much to say. Dahlbach, the hitter. Same pitch, called a ball. Dahlbach walked in the first, line to center in the fourth, single to center in the sixth. 4-4 game in the eighth. Each team has had the lead. Now they're tied again. Foul ball. 1-1. Dahlbach's had 6 at-bats this year against lefties and is 2 for 6, including a home run. Magnante follows Omar Olivares, who pitched the first 7 innings and allowed 4 earned runs. On 7 hits, he walked 1 and struck out 2, threw a wild pitch and threw 97 pitches, 54 for strikes. Magnante throws strike 2, swinging.
Lefty keeps the ball inside to Dahlbach. He's got a much better chance. So the ball away gives him a lot more problem.
Rolled the foul down to Tommy Harper. The attendance here this afternoon, 32,385. Another big crowd, a little bit smaller than what we had yesterday. And they had 33,122. 32,385 the attendance today. We've watched a very entertaining game. 1-2 pitch. Low. Magnante, native of Southern California, 34 years old. Broke in with Kansas City and a couple of years in Houston. Last year with Anaheim. Was a free agent over the winter, and he signed with Oakland in November. He's out of UCLA. He was a first-team academic All-American with a degree in math. There's a base hit into right center for Dahlbach, hustling hard, ready to take advantage of any miscue in the outfield, but Christensen played it back in cleanly. Well, Dahlbach has 2 more hits today, and the Red Sox have the go-ahead run at first with 1 out. And Jeff Fry is going to run for Dahlbach as Art Howe goes to the mound to bring the right-hander Matthews in to face Mike Stanley. Well, the managers have the wheel spinning. Dahlbach leaves to a nice hand as Fry takes his place. And here comes Matthews. Magnante departs after a strikeout of Lewis, and then having allowed a base hit to Dahlbach. 4-4 the score in the 8th. We'll be back in a moment.
Back at Fenway, all tied at 4 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Red Sox have a man on first and 1 out. Red Sox fans, don't forget to log on to RedSox.com 24 hours a day to order Red Sox tickets for the 2000 season. RedSox.com is also the best place to get all the updated team and player information. There's no better place for Boston baseball fans to go than RedSox.com. And taking over on the mound, as expected, T.J. Matthews working in his 4th game. He's had some control problems to this point. 4 walks in 2 2/3 innings, along with 1 strikeout. He's always pitched pretty well, though, against the Red Sox. Had a record, I believe, of 2-0 against Boston a year ago with a save in the 3 games that he faced the Red Sox. And you can see by that split grip, he throws the split-fingered fastball along with the cross-seam fastball.
He pitched 3 innings against the Red Sox last year without allowing a run in going 2-0 with the save. Started his career in the St. Louis organization. He was part of the big trade of July 31st of '97. That brought Matthews to Oakland with pitchers Eric Ludwig and Blake Stein for Mark McGwire. Here's Mike Stanley. Oh for 3. Did pick up an RBI, his first of the year, with a ground out in the 1st inning. 4-4 game. Fry the pinch runner at first. Running for Daubach. Held on by Signs. Matthews checks on him right away. Strike 1 at the knees. Stanley didn't like it. Mike doesn't have much to say ordinarily either.
No, he'll just turn around and question where the pitch is and quietly nod his head, then get back to business. That was a perfect pitch compared to the one on Lewis.
Yes. Which picked up the 7-10 split. Outfield more or less straight away. Giambi pretty shallow and right with the wind whipping in. And that's hit to right. Pretty well hit. It makes Giambi back up. He's spinning around in the wind, and he makes the catch. Just shy of the warning track. Well, on another day, Stanley has his first homer of the year. That gesture demonstrates his frustration.
Maybe even in the first 3 innings today before the wind started to blow. And then for a while it looked like Giambi was going to mess the ball up. He was turning every which way, and then finally able to catch up to it. Not an easy time for outfielders right now.
So 2 outs. Jimmy Williams still has Nomar Garcia-Parra available at some point in this game if he wants to use him. He did not start. Just getting a day of rest. Roy O'Leary, the hitter.
And as it's looking, it may be the 9th inning.
T.J. Matthews, 30-year-old veteran, born in Brian Daubach's hometown of Belleville, Illinois. Went to high school in Columbia, Illinois. Didn't get the call on that low pitch to O'Leary, who's 1 for 3, a single to right and a run scored in the 4th. 4 runs, 9 hits for Oakland. 4 runs, 8 hits, and 1 error for the Red Sox. Fry the pinch runner at first. 2 outs in the home half of the 8th. Boy sends that out of play to left, evening the count at 1-1. If O'Leary can reach, Everett would hit. There's Carl on deck. Matthews, the son of a former major leaguer. His dad, Nelson Matthews, was an outfielder for the Kansas City A's and the Chicago Cubs back in the early and mid 60s. His dad got into 306 big league games. Hit 223. Matthews to first. Fry back safely. Matthews was a shortstop in high school, MVP of the state baseball playoffs in high school in Illinois. Check swing, foul ball. 1-2. Like many from the southern part of Illinois, he grew up a St. Louis Cardinal fan. They're actually closer to St. Louis down there than they are to Chicago.
So he got to play for his hometown team then.
Lou Brock was his favorite player. Drafted by St. Louis was Matthews in the 36th round of the '92 draft. Played at UNLV. Was a criminal justice major.
Well, he'll have some good stories when he's done. He can say, hey, look, I got traded for the guy that made history.
I imagine being in Las Vegas, having a criminal justice background isn't such a bad idea either. Yeah, right now he's really the main piece that the A's have to show for the trade of Mark McGwire. One-two pitch, tied up. O'Leary, who popped it foul out of play to the left.
Do you know there was a Las Vegas, Maine?
I did not know that.
Yeah, I got an email the other day from a guy. Las Vegas, Maine. Could have been a.
Could have won a bet.
Could have been a joke too, but I mean that's what it
might
said.
have. I didn't know until the other day there was a Monterey, Massachusetts.
I didn't know that either.
In Western Mass. That's somebody from Monterey, Massachusetts. Up by the New York State border. Fry is running. O'Leary bounces it foul. Boy, Signs had an active day at first base.
He liked that one too because he didn't have to throw it to the pitcher. Just reach over and touch first base. But Gorman, the first base umpire, making the foul call.
A lengthy battle between Troy O'Leary and T.J. Matthews. Troy's fouled off a couple after accumulating 2 strikes. Go ahead run at first with 2 outs in the 8th inning in a 4-4 game. Timothy J. Matthews, better known as T.J., throws to first. I'll tell you, with T.J. and Real Cormier in the game right now, the pace of this one is likely to slow considerably.
T.J. paying a lot of attention to Fry, trying to keep him from stealing. Jeff was off with that last pitch.
He's not running this time. O'Leary lofts it to shallow left, in which Becker is there to win the inning. Well, after 2 one-sided games in a row between these 2 teams, we have a tie ball game going to the 9th on this Sunday afternoon at Fenway. It is now 56 degrees at the ballpark and dropping rapidly, so the temperature in the last 2 hours, almost 3 hours since the first pitch, has dropped 14 degrees with the wind up off the water. With the wind chill, it feels like it's dropped even more than that.
Yeah, that ugly breeze off the water.
And a gray overcast hanging in. Derek Lowe warming up from the Red Sox bullpen, so each closer is getting loose. Frank Menachino on deck, and then Ryan Christensen. He took Ben Grieve out for defense. He would have been the 3rd batter in this inning. Becker ducked out of the way of the errant breaking ball.
See Cormier wearing sleeves the last couple of days. It was so cold here at the beginning of the week, he had the short sleeves on, and never again.
Well, I don't understand, though. You know, we have the guys in the Dominican Republic out here in short sleeve shirts. We have Real from Canada out here with the long sleeves on. Strike 3. Outstanding pitch. Becker didn't think so. Cormier nipped the outside corner for the first out of the 9th inning.
Now, my guess would be, if you're a hitter today, try not to get the 2 strikes and then take it, because you never know what the call may be. That looked like a pretty good pitch. I'm thinking back to the one on Darren Lewis to start off the bottom of the 8th inning.
You know, other than that, I think DeMuro's had a pretty good day back there. He's been consistent. It's been a well-umpired series for the most part. You get an argument right now from Becker.
Yeah, I think that's just out of frustration from Becker.
Frank Menachino takes the ball low. Hard to throw one low to Frank. He's 5'9", solidly put together to about 180 pounds. You list him at 5'9", he might be a little shorter than that. In the air along the right field line. Lewis getting dangerously close to that pesky pole, makes the catch. 2 outs.
Yeah, you could just see that one, the way the wind was blowing, wrapping around Pesky's pole down there, but fortunately fell short for the Red Sox.
Number 28.
2 outs, top of the ninth, 4-4 game. In the bottom of the ninth, the Red Sox of Carl Everett, Jason Varitek, Wilton Barris due up. Andy Sheets would bat fourth. Jimmy Williams on his way to the mound. He's going to summon Derek Lowe right here. With Ryan Christensen coming up. Cormier departs, having pitched 1 inning. Jimmy didn't want to push him any deeper. Cormier also pitched an inning yesterday. Good relief work to this point for the Red Sox this afternoon, as Cormier and Wakefield have thrown a combined 2 2/3 innings of scoreless relief. Give the Red Sox the chance to mount this comeback. 4-4 game at the top of the ninth. 2 outs, the bases empty. Back in a moment.
With 2 outs here in the top of the ninth inning, Jimmy Williams again going to that bullpen with the right-handed due up. Derek Lowe coming in for the 5th time this year. The 1.35 ERA. See, the opponent's average only 167. And he's been off for a couple of days. The last time he worked was on the 13th. That was against the Twins, where he picked up a save in that ball game, pitching 1 inning. You had the luxury with Lowe, where a lot of times with closers they may only work him 1 inning. But Lowe can go out there, pitch a couple of innings, and still have the ability to bounce back again tomorrow.
He still doesn't really think of himself as a closer, despite the fact that he has experience in that role now and has pitched very well in it. Joe Kerrigan communicating with Jason Varitek. Low to Christensen, who's up for the first time today. Fastball poured over for strike 1. Christensen came in for defense when they had a 2-run lead in the 7th inning. Replaced Ben Grieve. Ryan is 1 for 12 with a single this year. What was wrong with that pitch? Can I take back what I said earlier? The nice things about the umpire?
Go ahead.
I take it back.
Oh.
My goodness. Two balls and a strike. That can quickly change the complexion of it at bat, too. Christensen should have been up there 0-2. Now he's got a count with which he could work. And he lofts one in his shallow center. That's going to fall for a hit. Everett playing deep, didn't want to allow an extra base hit in this situation. And Christensen is aboard at first. The go-ahead run aboard with 2 outs in the 9th. Kerrigan goes to the mound.
Well, that's certainly a big base hit. You get Olmedo Signs back up to the plate.
Somehow you figured he'd be back in the equation here. He had an active day at the plate and in the field. He reached on an error by Wilton Barris in the 2nd. He was hit by a pitch and wasn't very happy about it. It hit on the left arm by Ramon Martinez and scored in the 4th. He hit a bloop double down the right field line and knocked in a run in the 5th. And he flied to center in the 7th. 10 hits now for Oakland. Signs takes the breaking ball for strike 1. Christensen, a decent runner at first. He stole 7 for Oakland last year in 106 games.
And like the marathoners will be doing tomorrow, running against the wind towards second base.
Yes. runners may have a tough time making any progress toward the city going into this win. They might be going backwards, especially, you know, those folks who are usually near the front who don't wave very much. 1 for 1 against Lowe is Signs. Didn't he have a game-winning home run last year in Oakland?
I think that was it. The game-winning home run in Oakland.
Strike 2. Yeah, I'm worried about some of these runners tomorrow, Jerry. He struck him out. Lowe gets him with the breaking ball, and the Red Sox will have a chance to win it in the bottom of the ninth. 4-4 the score at Fenway Park. Carl Everett, the batter. Sean McDonough, Jerry Remy at Fenway Park. More than 32,000 have watched a very entertaining ball game. They want to go home happy on a Red Sox victory in the bottom of the ninth. Matthews came in last inning, retired both batters he faced. His first pitch, a ball wide to Everett. He's 1 for 3 with a double to left that knocked in a run back in the fourth. Signs guarding the line at first. Matthews missed down and in.
You never know what's going to happen, but it'd be hard to imagine this game ending on a home run.
It would take a titanic blast from somebody, because we've seen some bombs hit since the wind kicked up. There hasn't been anything close to a home run. Everett was trying to hit one through the breeze. He foul tipped it.
Either that or one of those low liners that just seems to be going up as it heads out the ballpark.
You would have a much better chance if it went down either of the foul lines. Maybe one like the one Veritek hit yesterday. Screaming line drive into the screen. Ball 3 low. In sharp contrast to a lot of the games we've seen this year, the control has been good for pitchers on both sides. Oakland pitchers have walked just 1. Red Sox pitchers have walked 3. 3-1 pitch. Hit in the air in center. Does he have enough of it? At the wall, it is gone! The Red Sox have won it 5-4 on a home run by Everett. Disbelief in the Oakland dugout. It needed to be an absolute bomb, and it was, to straightaway center field. Carl Everett, his 5th of the season. And what a first week he has had at Fenway Park as a member of the Red Sox. The fans want him to come back out. They're not heading for the aisles. They're still on their feet cheering for Everett. And here he comes. The Red Sox go 2 games above the 500 mark for the first time this season at 7-5, and they do it in dramatic fashion. They were down 2 runs in the 7th, scored twice in the 7th, and they win it on the homer by Everett here in the 9th.
Well, as we mentioned, Sean, it'd be hard to imagine this game ending on a home run. It would have to be crushed. And this ball was absolutely crushed by Carl Everett. To get out of that part of the ballpark when it was hit so high against that breeze, Carl Everett, and he has done nothing on this first homestand other than please these fans here at Fenway Park.
Wow. Red Sox win at 5-4. The totals and more from Fenway right after this. At Fenway Park, the crowd of 32,000 plus leaving with great happiness as the Red Sox win at 5-4 on a home run by Carl Everett. Carl joins us down to the field now. Carl, Sean McDonough, Jerry Remy up here. Thank you very much. We were talking just before you hit the ball that in order for this game to end on a home run, it was going to have to absolutely be crushed with the way the wind was knocking balls down after it kicked up. I mean, did you even go up there thinking that a home run was a possibility? And obviously you did crush that one.
Well, actually, I went against what I normally do to the plate. I went up there looking to hit one out. After I got 2-0, you know, I said the next two pitches that are strikes, I'm gonna swing hard as I can, try to get it through that wind. And he gave me two pitches up, back to back. I missed one. I said, "Give it to me again. I'm gonna hit it out."
When we're watching the replay of you run down the line, it looks like you knew when you hit it, it was going to be out, despite the fact that the wind had knocked down so many balls here today.
Yeah, I hit that ball off my mic right there. I knew all that. I knew I had all that one. It was no doubt in my mind that I hit it out.
Carl, it's been an adventure out there defensively with the way the wind has changed directions here at Fenway Park. It seemed like every day, and even today in the middle of the game, the wind changed. It's really been tough out there.
Yeah, a couple of balls they hit. Defensively, I went out there and caught. I thought it was going to go against the wall, but, you know, the wind knocked it down. You know, it was a day like that, but, you know, I said nothing's going to stop my ball from getting out.
Well, it's been quite a first week for you here at Fenway Park, and obviously the fans have taken to you very quickly.
Yeah, they've been great. They're still standing here cheering me on, but it's a great thing.
Well, Carl, we appreciate your time. Congratulations on the home run that won the game today for the Red Sox.
Thank you very much.
And that's Carl Everett, the hero of today's game. You can see that the wind also causes havoc once they decide to put the interviews over the PA system. He had a tough time with the feedback that can give everybody a problem once they turn on the PA system. Well, what a week it has been for Carl Everett. The Red Sox win it 5-4, 5 runs, 9 hits, 1 error, and just 4 men left on base. Oakland had some chances. They left 9, 4 runs, 10 hits, and no errors. Matter of fact, Oakland left at least 1 man on base in every inning after the first, the only inning in which they did not have a runner on base. Derek Lowe gets the win, his first decision of the year, and T.J. Matthews gave up the game-winning home run to take the loss before 32,385. So the Red Sox have won 2 out of 3 in this series, and they've won 6 of their last 7 overall. And we should go back to the beginning. An encouraging performance by Ramon. Martinez as well should not be forgotten.
I'm just thinking the same thing, Sean. You know, when you look back at this ball game, even though he left and did not have the lead, I thought personally that he had better stuff today than we've seen him in any performance. I thought his fastball had some good life to it. He had the changeup that was down, and to me that's a very encouraging sign. And also the rest of the bullpen pitched great today.
Yes.
Wakefield coming in, Derek Lowe coming in to shut down Oakland, shut down a very good offensive ball club.
And Jose Offerman had the big 2-out single in the 7th that knocked in 2 that tied the game and created the opportunity for the heroics of Everett. Once again, the final score of today's game, the Red Sox 5 and Oakland 4. This is the Fox 25 Boston Red Sox Network.